Subaru Forester has been around for a while and it's gone through a few generations. This is the latest one, and this is the Sport model. Now, Sport is a bit of a misnomer in some ways because it has the same engine, gearbox, etc., but the changes are in trim. Nice black grille over here. You'll notice the forward camera for various features, and of course you've got that orange-red trim throughout the car denoting Sport, which has become so popular. Nice deep front spoiler over here, giving you that effect. And on Sport, one of the extra features you get is the LED headlights over there, so they're very prominent and great lighting. The Forester confuses me slightly because I'm not quite sure if it's a station wagon or an SUV. Why I say that is, although it's got all the cladding and all the trim that you expect on an SUV, it's actually much lower than many other similar cars and not as much ground clearance as some of the opposition. But then again, Subaru typically don't follow the crowd, so we'll leave it at that. Nice black mag wheels with 18-inch tires on there. You can see they look good, look the part. Coming down across the car, you've of course got the roof racks on top, again with the orangey red trim to them, same as you get down the cladding at the back bottom of the doors. Popping open the rear door quickly, and if we take a look inside, you'll see the driver's seat set for myself, giving you lots and lots of legroom in the rear, certainly lots of space in the rear seat. You've got aircon vents in the center there, and you've got two USB ports, which for a car calling itself a family car, you would expect to see these days. So it's good that they're there. You do get ISOFIX on the rear seats, all these things you would expect on a family vehicle. And you notice the cloth and leather combination with lots of red stitching, as always. Coming around to the rear of the car, this is an important factor here, because of course it has Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which most Subarus do have. Road holding, safety, wet roads, all those sort of features, that's what you want, and that's what makes Subaru special in many ways. And I said it is the Forester Sport. So it's got a lot of extra features, a lot of extra trim. Pop open the boot over here, which as you see opens up like that, to 520 litres of boot space. So it certainly has a very large boot as a family, 5-seater family vehicle. This car's got a nice rubberized mat fitted over here. You lift up the boot board, you've got an extra storage area, can I call it, and a space saver spare wheel down there. There's a 12-volt socket in the boot area for power. Again, useful, and especially for the outdoor type, sporty type that would be driving a Subaru a lot of the time. And then there's this little lever over here, which is interesting, because if I flip this little lever, look what happens. Pops down that seat. You've got it for the other section as well. On the other side, if you want to pop down the big section as well, there you go. And now you have approximately 1,700 litres of boot space, utility space in the back of this vehicle. And that certainly is large, isn't it? No other word to describe it. Powered by Subaru's 2.5 litre 4-cylinder boxer engine. In this usage, in this version, it puts out 136 kilowatts, 239 newton meters of torque through a CVT, or Subaru's Lineartronic CVT automatic transmission for smooth, comfortable, pretty powerful cruising. Let's see it on the road. Let's check it out inside. On the road, the Forester Sport certainly is pretty comfortable. It's smooth, it's easy to drive. All the controls are nice and light, and that's what really counts to me and makes a family cruising vehicle, because I classify this very much as a real cruiser in every respect of the word. And I think that is important to note, that it does cruise so nicely. Whatever speed you want to maintain, of course, you can use that adaptive cruise control, the eyesight system that works, of course, above the rear view mirror on the windscreen and has all those safety features, picking up cars in front, and all the emergency braking that can come in, picks up, for example, if you're at a robot and the car in front of you pulls away, it tells you the car's moved on in front of you. It's features like that that are unique to Subaru to a large extent, or in the way that they do it, let me put it that way, because they're not totally unique and they're not only in Subarus, but they'd certainly work very, very well in this car. The engine's smooth, comfortable. It's not a ball of fire, but it certainly is a very pleasant cruiser and holds nicely, can take a mountain pass. We've taken it through to Hearties for a change on my favorite road, and my favorite route through the twisties, as I call it, and it's handled it so nicely. The thing about it is it feels effortless, and I think that's a very important factor with most cars, and especially a family car. You want it to be effortless, you want it to be nice and easy, and you want it to just always be comfortable for everybody. And I think my passengers have enjoyed a pretty comfortable cruise today out on the open road. Subaru is a left field choice. It's a car that many people don't even think about, don't even consider, yet they have such a loyal band of followers and of buyers who come back to the brand time after time, and that says more than most other factors on the type of car it is and what it delivers and what it produces for buyers. I must say, just a pretty enjoyable drive. It may have a few quirks here and there, but what car doesn't? Adds to the character and personality as far as I'm concerned. Behind the wheel, as always, you have a look, very, very basic instrumentation, but it tells you what you want, and that's all that counts. But also, I'm not going to show you the information that I normally show straight away over here. You'll see why in a second. But what is important is, of course, remembering that Subaru have eyesight, as they call it. So you've got your active cruise control, you've got all of those sort of features, and over here, sport, or the I button, which are the various settings for sport mode, etc., intelligent, as they call it, intelligent sport, etc. Quite honestly, I've left it in normal mode so far this entire test, and it's been more than adequate. But as I say, active cruise control, and that eyesight system with Subaru really works well. You can use the cruise control at basically any speed, tells you when the car in front of you has moved off, all those sort of features as well. Down here you've got a couple of buttons over here. You can see, of course, the engine stop start over there, and over here you've got various buttons for the tailgate, the SRH, which of course is your ESP, can I call it, etc. They're all there. You've got, of course, a button down below it. Can't quite show you if you really do want to switch off blind spot monitors. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. Sport does give you electric adjustment for both driver and front passenger seat. That's a feature of the sport model, and you can see this. It's actually a cloth effect, but the sort of carbon fiber type look that you get throughout over here, and it's a very, very neat look. Of course, the now expected red trim and red stitching that you expect, of course, on sport models, etc., and goldy copper color over here, very interesting looking. Other controls over there, they're all very standard. So why did I say to you that I'm not showing you the fuel consumption? Because of course you've got the tiny little screen up here that's showing fuel consumption. It's just clicked as I'm talking to you. So far on the test, and we've done about 450 kilometers, 8.8 liters per 100. It was showing 8.7 a moment ago. But that gives you a good idea of the fuel economy you're going to get on this car. It's definitely been a lot lighter open road. This has been majority town driving. So you can expect around the 9 mark around town, and probably 8 or just under 8 if you take an open road. You've got your nice big 7-inch touch screen over here. It's on navigation, which is standard. I can press there. That gives you all the different, of course, controls that you may ever want over there. All easy, simple. Come down over here. You've got your dual zone climate control. Simple, works well. That's all that really counts. And of course the gear shift over here. Now, don't forget, Subaru have Lineartronic, they call it. It's their version of a CVT. I have absolutely no complaints about this CVT transmission of Subarus, and they do have flappy pedals if you really insist on you going on to manual control if you want. I don't see the need, quite honestly. It's your choice. Below over here, of course, remembering now, don't forget the fact that this is Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive. So you've got X mode over here where you have allowance for snow or dirt or mud, etc. So you can just adjust for those if you want to. Over here shows various camera views. I'll show you something about that in a moment. And of course your electronic parking brake. Note all the red stitching around. Now, having spoken about cameras, let's just take a look. If I pop the car into reverse gear over there, you have a look over here. Come up to the screen and you'll see you've got your reverse camera on the main screen, but up above in that little screen again, you've got a side view camera. And if I press this button over here, you'll see I can change it to various views, etc. while I'm about it. So it gives you the options, and that was pressing that little view button. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Another feature of the sport model in particular is the large sunroof, which is standard on the sport model. So there are a lot of features, a lot of factors you get on this particular model. The 2.5 litre 4-cylinder boxer engine, that's again a unique feature of Subaru, puts 136 kilowatts, 239 Newton meters of torque. I just switched off the engine. It's screaming at me to tell me, look in the back seat before you exit the car, and also that I wasn't in park. So it's quite simple how to do that one. And there are these extra warning systems, extra passive safety that you get on this car. I mentioned blind spot monitoring. It's got rear cross traffic monitoring. It's got all of those that you're going to ever want and require. Subaru is one of those niche brands, niche models that's so different, so unusual. And from the literature I've read, Subaru buyers stay Subaru owners. Simple as that. This particular model, priced at 611,000 Rand currently. It's a nice, biggish station wagon slash SUV. It's not quite as high as many other SUVs. That's why I'm saying station wagon SUV. But it gives you all those features. So it's difficult to pigeonhole it and mention opposition. But you could look at Toyota RAV4s. You can look at Mazda CX-5s. You can look at Honda Tucsons, all of those, or especially the top models in all those range that do offer you all-wheel drive to really compare when you're comparing apples with apples. It's a left field choice, as I said. But if you are a left field person, or if you've driven Subaru before, well, it certainly is a nice option. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. See you next time.